I will be here with him, working on his defense, making sure that this case goes in the right direction.
The third time, this judge not buying.
In a court filing late Friday, prosecutors detailing the steps they say Combs is taking while law.
What unfolds when one of the most influential titans of the music world is confronted with allegations so explosive they could dismantle his entire empire, only for his lawyer to disclose secrets Diddy never intended to reveal?
Bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know, I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know.
The name scene Diddy Combs has long been a symbol of power, control, and an unwavering drive to dominate every field he enters. However, recent revelations hint at cracks in the mogul's seemingly unshakable facade. Behind closed doors, tensions have reportedly reached a boiling point, with rumors swirling of a dramatic fallout with his own attorney. Allegations of a fiery confrontation, where secrets and tempers erupted, suggest a rare glimpse into a power struggle that even Diddy's legendary composure couldn't contain. Most compelling is how this rumored clash ties back to Diddy's relentless obsession with controlling every facet of his life, his empire, and above all, the narrative.
American males get to see something positive, not just who shot him this week, not the unemployment rate, not what they can't do, not incarceration, you know?
Diddy's attorney allegedly unleashed a bombshell revelation. Whether during a private conversation or unintentionally in a legal proceeding remains uncertain, that reportedly sent the music mogul into a fiery outburst. If history is any indication, such intense reactions are far from uncommon when it comes to Diddy.
Documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Bobby? But no, you have to do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah,
Some sources claim the revelation delved into Diddy's finances, while others suggest it uncovered more personal, potentially scandalous details.
Fortune from that been decimated since the fallout of this?
Yes. The answer to your last question is absolutely yes. And so to back that up, Revolt TV was founded to showcase hip-hop culture, youth creators, and it had some pretty successful programming. I believe Drink Champs is one of their most famous or most popular programs. And he had a little over 50% stake in that network. And what we were led to believe was that it was an equity stake, meaning that he had financial control over the company. A source that was close to the finances of Revolt said that that wasn't true, that his equity stake essentially just controlled the voting rights of the company, so he didn't really have a lot of financial say, meaning that that stake he did have in Revolt would be worth less. If you have financial control over the company, that's worth a lot. If you're just controlling, the voting, which is essentially what decisions the business makes, it's not worth as much.
Has Revolt responded to this at all?
They have, yes. The day that they announced that Diddy no longer had any stake in the company, their CEO, Datavio Samuel, said that they are going to hand Diddy shares over to employees. It's meant to be a way of equalizing everyone's place within the company, to have let everyone have skin in the game, essentially. It's also meant to be a way to drive or generate wealth for employees who have come from marginalized backgrounds, in which wealth generation is a huge component of getting ahead in corporate America.
Witnesses have described Diddy's reaction as nothing short of volcanic. Renowned for his charisma and unflappable presence, the mogul is said to have cast aside his trademark composure, erupting into a storm of accusations and demands.
The Sean Combs legal team has just raised, I would say, a new issue, sort of new issue to the court, and we're going to address it right now, and it concerns, of all things, believe it or not, access to a laptop while he's in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, where he's currently locked up while he's waiting trial next year. And before I even go into the defense's letter, I said it was new, but really, this is an issue that has come up before. You see, Sean Combs' defense lawyers, they have argued that the conditions at the MDC make it incredibly difficult for him to properly review evidence in the case and prepare for trial. And yes, he has a constitutional right to prepare for his trial. But they have been arguing for quite some time that because of the incredible amount of material in this case, you really can't do it without a laptop. He needs a laptop to review everything. I mean, this is a massive case. Combs is accused of sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, transportation to engage in prostitution, and they are looking at him allegedly operating a criminal enterprise from 2008 to 2024. That is a long, long time period. And when he was first arrested, prosecutors at the time, they said they interviewed more than 50 victims and witnesses. They obtained over 90 cell phones, laptops, over 30 electronic and storage devices, firearms, physical evidence, records that were obtained pursuant to over 300 grand jury subpoenas and voluntary production. Think about how much stuff there is.
For years, Diddy has skillfully deflected attention from persistent rumors and accusations, wielding a potent mix of charm, misdirection, and sheer determination. However, with his attorney's revelations threatening to lift the veil, even Diddy's formidable PR machine might find itself struggling to contain the fallout.
No deal that the U.S. Attorney's Office can offer, and it's certainly not one that Diddy will accept. It would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years for both the charges and the sex trafficking. So we know that Diddy has fought charges before. There were state charges, there were gun-related, the nightclub shooting with J-Lo, but he's going to dig in his heels, and this case is going to trial. So if you're prosecutors, you really want to make sure that your evidence is bulletproof before you go down.
Is someone within Diddy's inner circle orchestrating a calculated coup, leaking sensitive information to undermine his empire? Or is this a case of his own paranoia spinning shadows into enemies where none exist? Either way, the mogul's response has been far from composed.
Information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing, and I know that seems strange to a lot of people. But when I spoke to my people over in the courts that I have over there, they told me when people got a lot of money and they got lawyers that can come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts, that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence to present to the court that'll help his case or whatever, to get bail, they'll have one every month or every other month or whatever the lawyers present that. So you got to realize he got a lot of money. He still got a lot of money because he's paying these high-profile lawyers to take this case. So in having them to take this case, they're able to construct a lot of information together to making sure that when they go to the courts, they can say, yo, Your Honor, listen here, this is something that's changed. This is something that's new. This is something that's different. And doing that, that's giving them the opportunity to see can they get him bail. And it looked like he might get bail.
True to form, Diddy hasn't backed down. If anything, the conflict seems to have fueled his determination. In a recent cryptic social media post, he alluded to betrayal and resilience, writing, *, when they try to tear you down, remember who you are. *, was this a pointed jab at his attorney, or just another masterclass in the art of public misdirection?
Just laser focused. He's engaged. He's helpful. He's confident. You know, we're going through our defense as we do every day, and his spirits are relatively good. I mean, you know, it's always difficult to be in a place like this, but I can tell you, the staff has been helpful and really, you know, wonderful to us. They've given us full access to him. I have no complaints whatsoever, and I'll be coming here every day. So, you know, every day until he's out, I will be here with him, working on his defense, making sure that this case goes in the right direction, which results in him leaving this.
Prosecutors allege that Diddy used a prison texting app to urgently send hundreds of messages to individuals outside his approved contact list, including his children. Reports suggest his children later posted videos on social media, a move prosecutors claim was intended to influence potential jurors.
This morning in the sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs, prosecutors now claiming that from behind bars, Combs has been trying to reach out to victims and possible witnesses. Maybe he's Phil Lipoff is here now with this story. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Gio. Diddy's lawyers trying for a third time to get him out on bail, but this time, the prosecution telling the judge about attempts they say the rap mogul made from behind bars to influence everyone from potential jury to alleged victims.
Who's the boss? Dudes is lost. Don't think, cause I'm iced out. I'm a...
This morning, prosecutors leveling new accusations against Sean Diddy Combs, saying he poses a serious risk of danger even from behind bars as he awaits trial. In a court filing late Friday, prosecutors detailing the steps they say Combs is taking while locked up to reach out to prospective witnesses and influence public opinion to affect potential jurors.
The accusations within the prosecution's motion to deny bail are very serious and will be considered very heavily by the judge, because the judge is going to want to ensure that he is not influencing witnesses and or contacting anyone to influence a trial in any way.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution, and sex trafficking. He denies any wrongdoing. The government now asking a judge not to grant Combs' third request for bail, in which the music mogul offers a $50 million bail package citing new evidence and changed circumstances.
Dozens of accusers, including individuals who were allegedly underage at the time, have come forward with chilling accounts of being manipulated, threatened, and, in some instances, physically harmed.
Details in Sean Diddy Combs' ongoing legal battle have been uncovered. The music mogul, who is currently in jail awaiting trial on federal charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution, to which he's pled not guilty, is facing several sexual assault allegations from over 100 people. Now one of his accusers has been revealed, Anna Kane, the ex-wife of NHL star Evander Kane, according to court documents obtained by TMZ on December.
Prosecutors have suggested the potential for additional charges and have even implicated others who may have been involved in Diddy's alleged operation.
He was accused of threatening and abusing multiple victims over years. Prosecutors say he had a lot of help, and those alleged accomplices are now in their sights. Our senior investigative correspondent Eric Tursky has the latest. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning to you, George. With Sean Combs locked up here at this federal jail, investigators are now turning to his inner circle. This morning, as hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs fights racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges, investigators are working to determine who his co-conspirators were and whether they too should be charged.
According to attorney Lisa Bloom, who represents one of the accusers, phone tracking data reveals over 100 points of contact between Diddy and an individual who later labeled her client a liar.
So we sit around a table like this. He's sworn to tell the truth. It's the same oath that you take in a court of law. There's a court reporter who takes it down. There's a videographer, and I ask him questions that are relevant to the case.
Right.
And he's required to answer my questions.
And so he has to take part in this. There's no chance for him to duck it or avoid it, as I'm sure he would like to.
I'm sure he will duck it and avoid it and delay it, and his attorneys will do everything possible. But ultimately, every party in a lawsuit has to sit for a deposition. So you can't get out of it. You can delay, but you can't get out of it entirely.
Judge Sub Menon's conclusion was unequivocal. The court determined that the government had presented clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions would reasonably ensure the safety of the community.
Breaking news before the break. We are just learning that a judge has denied another one of rapper Sean Diddy Combs' requests to be released on bail. Remember, he's behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn waiting for his trial to get started next year in May. He's been detained for 2 months on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, which he's pled not guilty to. Chloe Malas is following this for us. We were waiting for this decision. We got it in now. What do we know? All right. Well, it's 5 pages, and the takeaway here is that the judge is saying that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. And that was what New York prosecutors were saying. I was in court twice last week, and I listened to these prosecutors say that he was a danger to the community, and they showed that video, that surveillance video of him from 2016 brutally beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, saying that he has a propensity to violence, and that alone is a reason why we cannot agree to the proposed bail package. Now, his team had offered $50 million, a home of his in Miami as collateral, and they said that he would live in an apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side, monitored by 24-hour security. He would only talk to his attorneys, that he would only have, certain family members on a pre-approved list, and that, he would actually be under stricter conditions than he is at the jail in Brooklyn. Clearly, this is the third time this judge not buying it.
What was Diddy like in court? You were there
twice last week. What was his demeanor like?
I mean, he was smiling on Friday, turned around and looked at his children. All of his children were there except for his infant child. His mother was there. He looked a little thinner. He looked a little worse for wear. But he has seemed upbeat and positive. And a few days earlier on Wednesday, so a week ago today, his legal team had a win, because his team was able to say that New York prosecutors wrongly obtained 16 pages of notes from his jail cell during a routine sweep. That it had his defense strategy, it had witnesses that they planned to call at the criminal trial in May, and the judge agreed that those should have been protected under attorney-client privilege. So there was a feeling today among reporter friends of mine and people in the building here that, maybe there's a chance that the judge, given he's taking several days to think about this, he asked for both sides to write a letter, that he might release him. This is the third time. His team were waiting for a response from them, from his legal team. They could appeal again. But we were talking to Danny Savalos earlier, and he said, they would have to propose something new and different.
His defiance may be his defining trait, but with mounting evidence and increasing public skepticism, even Diddy's unyielding will might not be enough to shield him.
I think he's going to go to the prison for the rest of his natural life. The federal guidelines are going to be astronomical. There's so much that they've gotten in the search warrant from Miami and LA, and he's really looking at sex trafficking with a lot of aggravating factors.
Which is the most serious for him?
The RICO encompasses all the other statutes. So it's the sex trafficking and then all the other enhancements with that. So guidelines, he's probably looking at in excess of 300 months. Those are just the guidelines.
I mean, I saw that through his lawyers, they put a bail package proposal that included a $50 million bond co-signed by Combs, his mother, and other family members. It was to include home detention, surrender of his passport, weekly tests, visitor logs that be submitted to pre-trial services each night. That was rejected. I mean, that in itself said to me just how serious the trouble is for Diddy Combs.
Well, you have a situation where this is a presumptive detention situation. In other words, the defense has to prove, rebut the presumption. And while this is all going on, we have witness tampering, we've got potential bribes of witnesses, and then we also have possession of and ammunition and firearms that are obliterated serial numbers. And then he was on his plane trying to go somewhere earlier in the year. So we have a situation where there's a risk of flight and definitely a danger to the public and a potential obstruction of justice.
What do you think? Are the walls finally closing in on Diddy, or is this just another chapter in the epic saga of a man who always finds a way to come out on top? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more in-depth coverage of the most shocking celebrity dramas. This story is far from over, and believe us, you won't want to miss what unfolds next.